I'm Dr. Kayla Eckart. I'm a naturopathic physician and have a practice here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I also offer virtual groups and retreats to individuals who are looking for just a whole nother layer to healing. I found out about LOTUSWEI 10 years too late. So once I knew that naturopathic medicine was an option, it was a really clear path. I knew that I could use herbs and diet and lifestyle and nutrition, that supplements were a really valuable tool. I even knew that I could do home births and a type of manipulation similar to chiropractic, and the path was clear. But there's something that happens when you enter a medical school program and you're trained to be a primary care physician, to order all the labs and the imaging, to diagnose and label and treat. There are many things that melted away a little bit and no longer were the priority, because the priority was getting through school. There's something that's lost in that, and I think it's taken me 10 years to get back to it. I think if I would have found flower essences before medical school, I would have felt confident that I had the thing that I needed to really help people heal on a really deep and foundational level that I don't know if I would have gone to medical school. I hope that I don't come off sounding insensitive, and that's not my intention at all. But it's getting to the point as a patient comes into my office and they have their symptoms and I can see their intake and they have a whole host of things that they're struggling with. In my mind, I hear myself saying, I don't care. And it's not that I don't care about the patient, it's that none of those things matter. The labels that have been attached to them and their symptoms are only likely preventing their healing rather than providing additional information or direction on how to treat. And so what I like about flower essences, and specifically the combination remedies from LOTUSWEI, is it takes me out of it. And if I can remove myself and all of my biases, all the blinders that medical school unfortunately put on me, and the patient is able to see a flower and really tune into their own intuition, select a flower, select the different things that they're attracted to, that's the medicine. And I'm completely removed. I'm just the conduit. I just ask the right questions. I just present the options, and then they select the treatment they need. And that's more powerful than anything I have to offer. The system that LOTUSWEI provides is so unique because most people have to dedicate their whole lives to studying flower essences. And I haven't done that. I just remove myself from the equation because the patient, if they're able to look at a set of flowers, if they're given the tools, if they're given the visual stimuli, and they're asked, if you ask them to choose what they're drawn to, they will intuitively select what they need as treatment. So they turn into their own doctor. And as a physician and as a doctor, which means teacher, docere means to teach, that's our job, is to teach them what's available for them to heal. When you put it back on the patient, they're already a master of their lives. They know what they need. And so again, if you remove yourself completely and you just provide the tools, they select the flower, they select their treatment, they start the healing journey, and you get to just sit back and watch the beautiful thing unfold. Something that's been really common over the last couple of years is just that black cloud feeling that my patients, friends, family, people are experiencing with everything that's happened over the last couple of years. And the options from a conventional medical system for that are medications that have strong action, that impact neurotransmitters, and have a whole slew of side effects. And when I get that patient in for the first time, and they even share that they're having a hard time seeing the joy, seeing the lighter things in life, and experiencing laughter and being in the moment with their children or their partner, and there's that black cloud that just seems to shadow every single day, 9 times out of 10, they will choose joy juice. And I love having that option because it's something they can immediately feel. And if that person is still safe, meaning they're not so depressed that I'm worried about their personal well-being, I can give them that remedy and check back with them in a few days. And most often they have experienced enough of a shift where they trust the process, they continue the remedy, and they come back in a couple of weeks, and then we can layer on other treatments. But the whole point is treatments are layered, and flower essences, if the right selection, can truly remove some of those more invasive layers of treatment. Things that impact your own body's physiology when your body's intelligent and We don't want to skew its communication. We just want to help support it in what it's trying to do in the first place. Say a woman comes in and they've lost their husband and they feel lonely and sleep is difficult and they're having to just trudge through life and do all these things that they maybe hadn't previously done in the household or in their relationship. And there needs to be a level of comfort. And how nice to be able to offer something that's passive, because talk therapy and treatments that require physical effort, or even just showing up for an appointment or taking a capsule or an herb, they're all things you have to do. And when someone feels like they're nearly drowning in their emotions or their grief, to give them something that feels good, that's nutritive, that smells nice, and immediately shifts the feeling in the room and in their body, there's no arguing that that's not a really easy addition to a day to make life just a little bit less complicated or less hard. For instance, I also see people who will come into the office, describe their symptoms. It makes me look really, really smart. They come in, they describe their symptoms, they tell me what they're struggling with. I have them do a flower essence quiz, or I have them select the flowers. And then with the LOTUSWEI system, they look at that specific combination of flowers in that remedy, those flower essences, and what it is to support. And they've told me 3 or 4 things on a list of 7. I mean, that's a pretty good confirmation for the patient of like, wow, yeah, this is exactly what I need. A gentleman came in talking to me about how he was in the middle of moving jobs and his shoulders were killing him and he wanted injections in his shoulders and maybe needed something for headaches. And his mind was like a rat wheel, just not stopping. And he gets quiet mind. And it used to surprise me so much that I would get on my phone, I'd text Katie and say, "You're not going to believe this." And she shakes her head or smiles, because she does believe it, because they see it over and over. A friend of mine has a son who is 4 and he was adopted. He has some delays in speech and tantrums that lead from frustrated communications. And he's mostly nonverbal. But when I show him the pictures, when I give him the options of what remedies to choose from, he always chooses truth teller. And truth teller is about frustrated communications and wanting to convey your thoughts and your processes and be able to communicate, but having it not come out the way that you know intuitively the way you want to share. That's a little 4-year-old. You know, you can't, when you're talking about animals and pets and children, they don't know about the placebo effect. This has nothing to do with just taking something and know that you're doing something. It is diffusing through all of your cells. Or I guess that's the way I picture it, is that it gets into your body and it just dissolves all the little roadblocks. And the same thing in your mind. My parents have always been supportive of all these things that I like to play with. And so if I say take this remedy, they'll take this remedy. And my mother had experienced a fair amount of loss. Her best friend's husband, she's had close people to her pass over the last couple of years. And there's just this level of grief that as she starts to heal, something else happens. And there's that desperation of like, gosh, when will it just lift? So I gave her inner peace. And you have to understand, my mom is very much a doer. She will say yes to everything. She is a nurturer. She's so giving and beautiful. And inner peace, I intended just to like slow everything down. I could feel after not seeing her for a week and she was taking the remedy that something was different. Our conversations were different. And I said, "Mom, have you been taking inner peace? Do you think it's helping?" And she goes, "I don't know, but it's really improved my golf game," which is, she loves to golf. And what she described is when she's out on the course and should just be enjoying her day and the weather and a sport that she loves, her mind is just going, right? Like usually she's thinking about what she needed to accomplish or who she needs to call back or why is my phone ringing? And she said, when I get up to hit the ball, my mind's blank and calm and my golf game is improved. So the joke is I have her take inner peace for her golf game when I know it's impacting on that deeper level. I found flower essences, I would say by accident. I was at a beauty store and they had them available and I just picked one that was drawing my attention. And it turns out it was boundless wisdom. And it was about going back through all the roadblocks that I had created in my life or my mind about what was hard and where obstacles were. And it really helped me not put any value to those things anymore and just trudge forward with my dreams and the things that I know to be true. And I think it was dissolving some of the old associations I had with either making money or abundance or accepting help. And that's in complete retrospect of looking at it, because I had no idea what it was doing at the time. And that's not the last time I should say, that I've experienced something completely unexpected. One of the more powerful remedies I've taken recently, I've had huge shifts. My family took an enormous move. My practice, I had to have this level of trust that my practice was going to continue in the rewarding manner that I had before moving to Wyoming. And there came a lot of emotions with that. And even in the downtime that I appreciated so much, time in nature and walks and just sitting in the sun or fishing with my children, there was this really uneasy feeling of, oh, is this enough? I'm not growing. A lot of negative self-talk, and really thinking about over the last 10 years, the things that I've done with my business or my practice. Where did I go wrong? Or was that the right decision? Is this all going to bloom in the way that I think it should? And Katie sent Sacred Heart, and I opened it and I was relieved. So I knew that just by looking at it, like, this is what I need. This is going to help soothe these feelings that I'm having. And when I started taking it, it almost became more intense. There was a day I just cried, like about anything, and I wouldn't even say it was full sadness. Some of it was frustration, but it was just crying. And the tears weren't always emotionally charged, if that makes sense. I was reading to my children, tears just streaming down my face, and I felt ridiculous. I was just ready to be done reading. I was just ready to be done. It was too much. I was so overwhelmed. And I'm in an environment where I have miles and miles of space around me, and mountains and flowing rivers and wildflowers. And somehow I was just feeling like I needed more space. Like, I need more space. I need more room and less on my plate or in my immediate environment. And I was so discouraged by what I was feeling that rather than just trusting Sacred Heart and journaling and doing some sort of approving that I could report back as, yes, this is what I experienced too, without really knowing what the remedy was intended to treat, I was so discouraged that I grabbed onto any information I could about Sacred Heart just to get that sense of relief that all the things that it can support me with, that I was on the right track. And after a few days, it's passed, and that's within the last couple of weeks. And the way I'm looking at my future, the outlook on the world and my practice and the way I want to raise my children is coming from a complete sense of peace.